welcome to my channel. My name is Shirley, and in today's video I'll be telling you some college application tips that I have that I thought would be really useful, especially for this time of year, because if you're applying to college, now would be the time that you are applying. I am personally going to be a college freshman later this week actually, which is pretty nerve-wracking, but that's not the point of this video. I hope you guys find this extremely helpful, and in the description box, because this will be a very long video, I will have time stamps so you can click on the timestamp to go to the certain category that you are looking for. And throughout this video, I will be also telling you guys my personal experience and my results and whatnot. Around March and April, actually, there will be another part of this series which will be all about dealing with rejections and choosing the right college for you. And I decided to do a separate part for that because it'll be more relevant at that time. Right now, you guys are just thinking about applying to college, not really choosing which college you want to attend. This first part will be about extracurriculars and whether to take the SAT or the ACT. When applying to college, everyone wants to be, the perfect, well-rounded student, just being like, amazing at everything. Personally, from my experience, my extracurriculars in high school were that I was in the World Vision Club, in Environmental Club, National Honor Society, and I played the piano outside of school, and I was on the golf team, the swim team, and I did YouTube, and I ran a blog. My recommendation for finding the perfect extracurricular for you is to find something that you love and then excel in it. I am personally extremely passionate about World Vision and everything that they stand for, so that is why I joined the club. I participated a ton in it, and I ended up getting a leadership position, and then I just kept moving up. So my junior year I was co-director of activities, and then my senior year I was actually the co-president. I feel like it's so much easier to get a leadership position in it, or just be really involved in it if you are actually really passionate about the topic that you're in the club for. If you don't have a club at your school that you're passionate about, just make your own, because that looks even better on college applications if you just took your own initiative and made your own club, because making a club is a really long and hard process, and I'm sure colleges know that. Sports are also a really great way to get involved at school. I was on the golf team sophomore to senior year, and I was on the swim team from my freshman to my junior year. The reason why I stopped doing it my senior year was just because it was too much to handle, I thought. But I would definitely recommend showing persistence and I don't know, I forgot what it's called. Being in something for 4 years, it proves a lot to colleges that you are willing to, stay in that same club or in that same sport or in that certain class. It just looks really good on an application, so if you do join a sport, I would definitely recommend staying for 4 years. Moving on to whether or not you should take the SAT and the ACT, or which one you should take. In my personal experience, I did take both the SAT and the ACT. I really like the ACT a lot better than the SAT. What you should know about these two tests are that the SAT actually tests you on your testing ability and the way that you take tests, whereas the ACT tests you on your knowledge and what you actually know, and it doesn't trick you like the SAT does. In regards to scores, I ended up getting a 2040 super score for my SAT. My first one that I took, I got a 1970, and the second one I took was a 2010, and my only goal was to get over 2000, so when I got 2010, I was like, wow, clutched it. And how I prepared for that was that I actually went to academy my sophomore summer, and I started out as a 1300, and then in that summer I went up to 1600, and then the summer before my junior year I went to a boot camp where it raised me from 1600 to around 1900. 1800-ish. I didn't like it at all. I was so glad when I finished, but then I really wanted to try the ACT because I heard that if you're not that good in SAT, then maybe try out ACT because they're so different. I didn't study actually, which was probably really bad, but I didn't study. I just kind of went in and took it because I just wanted to see what it was like, and I got a 31 composite score, or whatever it's called. I did ACT plus writing. That was when I realized that ACT is better for me compared to SAT, and I should have just studied for the ACT in the first place. So definitely try out both tests. Take the SAT once and then take ACT, and then try to decide which one you like more, and then just try to work hard on that one. However, there are colleges that actually make SAT/ACT optional. So look into those colleges if you just really do not want to take any of those tests, but also check your college if they accept ACT instead of an SAT. I know generally most colleges do accept SAT, so that shouldn't be a problem, but if you only want to take the ACT rather than the SAT, I would definitely say to check your college. Part 2 is finding and applying to colleges. I applied to 10 colleges. Keep in mind that applying to college is actually really expensive, so I would recommend applying to a good number of safety schools, which are schools that you know you will get into for sure, and then some reach schools, which are schools that you are like that are kind of out of your reach, but maybe you'll have, maybe you'll get in, and then to just like a middle school where it's like half-half, you're probably gonna get in, but also maybe you won't get in. To find out which schools were my safety schools and my reach schools, I used websites like kpex.com, and you just enter in your information, and then you find colleges, and then it'll rank you like, oh, you'll like 70% get into this school. So I'm just gonna tell you guys the colleges that I applied to and which ones I got rejected to and which ones I got accepted and whatnot. I actually got into all of my safety schools, and I also got into NYU, which took me by surprise. I still can't believe I got in. That's insane. I got rejected from USC, UCLA, UC Berkeley, and Stanford, and then I got waitlisted to UC San Diego, and I decided to not go through with my waitlist confirmation because first of all, I was too tired and didn't want to write an essay, and I just didn't really like UC San Diego and kind of the vibe, but yeah. Here are some things to keep in mind while applying to college and choosing which college you want to maybe go to for the next 4 years. First of all, choose whether you want to go in-state or out of state. Try to think of whether you like your hometown and the weather and the people, and also compare it to what you think you will like at that out-of-state school. It's also a lot more expensive than paying for in-state tuition, so keep that in mind as well. The next thing is super freaking important, and I really wish I took this into consideration a lot more than I did, which is money and how much tuition actually costs. This played a huge role in me deciding which college I wanted to attend. Make sure the colleges that you're applying to has a tuition that you are willing to pay. Get as many scholarships as possible. That's something I didn't do. Is the amount of money you're paying for that education actually worth it? Hopefully you apply to colleges that you know you will be able to pay, and if you can't pay, you know that you will be able to pay off your loans. Write down all of your deadlines on a calendar because I know some schools do separate deadlines. Make sure you know whether you are doing the Common App, the University of California app, or any other app that you may have. Personally, I really loved doing the Common App. It was really fun. I really liked it. I don't know. Maybe you guys will like it as well. We've reached the third and final part, which is essays and your teacher recommendations. You really want to ask a teacher that you really connected with, that you have a really good relationship with, and if not, to ask a teacher that knows how much effort you put into their class and into getting a good grade. So that was a no-brainer for me. It was my junior year. I was in AP Calc AB. It was my first year. I didn't have a math tutor. The first semester I got a B and I was like heartbroken, but I was like, hell no, I'm getting that A. So I went to my teacher in the morning every single day for the rest of the school year to ask for help. Even if I didn't need help, I would just go in and look at my homework, and he would have practice problems sometimes on the board, and then I would do them, and I got an A. And so I was like, dude, I like really showed how hard I work this year. Make sure you ask those teachers super early because they will be swamped with recommendations from other students, and they might write yours in time, but it might not be as good as it could have if you asked them earlier. I wrote all the deadlines that I would need it by. Okay, time for the essays, because essays, we all know, is like freaking hard and really frustrating. So the first thing obviously is to start early. Start early, figure out your prompts. The UC essay has 2 prompts. So one is how the environment around you affected you as a person. The second one is like a passion or something. And then the common app, you have the golden essay, which is your main essay. And some private colleges actually do have a lot of supplements. So, you know, supplements. I knew that I would go through a lot of drafts, which is why I started early. What I recommend doing is to just write. I had such a hard time starting, but I just wrote whatever the heck came to my mind and then just read it over and like try to put something together and then have people edit them. Yeah, don't edit them by yourself because you will think that you are like the best writer in the world and you can't see any mistakes. So have someone else edit them for you. I had one of my best friends edit them, and her boyfriend actually helped as well, which is super helpful because they are both from Stanford, so I like trusted them wholeheartedly, and they were actually my main editors. For my AP Lit class my senior year, actually the first couple of months or weeks, we actually only worked on our college applications and essays at school, which was awesome. And I actually had my AP Lit teacher edit my essay. My main goal throughout the entire essay process was that I wanted an essay that I was super proud of and that I knew I tried my absolute best in, that, you know, even if I didn't get into my dream school or anything, I knew that I put my 100% effort into it. This final essay tip was super helpful for me, which is what my best friend told me to do, and that was when I wrote my first draft and my friend told me to make certain changes. I was like, yes, I'll make the changes, but when I actually read my essay, I was like, I don't know what to change. Everything seems like it should be there. And she was like, just delete that entire draft and then just start over. And I was like, what? But honestly, do it. Your first draft, give it to someone to edit, and then read all their suggestions, and then delete that draft, and then just rewrite a totally new one, and then redo that. I think it was only till my 6th or 7th draft that my friend was finally like, okay, this one looks like a solid base, and we can just edit it and like work things in and take things out and whatnot. And my first draft and my last draft were so completely different. And also keep in mind that your initial idea may not be the final idea that you have for your essay, and that's totally fine. People go through a ton of ideas all the time. Don't let that discourage you. And yeah. Oh my gosh, we've reached the end of this video and my throat really hurts. I hope this was really helpful. I love watching these types of videos, especially while I was going through the process, so hopefully this helps as well. And comment below any tips that you may have for people going through this process. And if you are currently applying to college and you have any additional questions, feel free to comment them down below and I'll do my best to answer them. And with that being said though, I will have a new video up next week, so be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you did like it. It doesn't do anything, it just makes me feel good. And subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll talk to you next time.
I know that you're the one, but it's hard to choose.